Welcome back, everyone. Toyshiz here, and I am back yet again to serve up yet another kind of DC Multiverse Spawn video mixed in with a little Mortal Kombat 11 action, being that, yeah, that's basically how the Mortal Kombat 11 line is still going, right? Mixed with Spawn and DC figures. But we have the new The Batman Who Laughs. If you're not familiar, he's just an evil version of Batman. Kind of went south a little bit for me in terms of liking the character. But, of course, here is the barcode if you needs it. And then the one that I'm more excited about, we have the Shadow of Spawn, which is, of course, a skin from Mortal Kombat 11. Kind of showcases the original Spawn look mixed in with more modern look. Here's the barcode for the Shadow of Spawn. Or is it? Looks like they messed up, put a sticker over it right there for old Cabal. But yes, this is the barcode for the Shadow of Spawn. So, this is going to be fun. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, and get over here. This is a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11, but it's really just DC Multiverse and Spawn at this point. The Batman Who Laughs and the Shadow of Spawn. And of course, here's both figures taken out of the packaging. You get an accessory or two with each of them. And for the most part, each of the figures is done relatively well. But I got my thoughts, and we'll get into that. First and foremost, with the Batman Who Laughs. Now, like I said, this is a skin from the Mortal Kombat 11 game, utilizing Noob Saibot's tech, basically, but it looks like the Batman Who Laughs. He comes with this hook weapon accessory. He holds it okay. He kind of has a trigger finger on that hand, but it does the trick for holding it. We'll just say it fits for the Batman Who Laughs. As wackadoo as the Batman Who Laughs is. Nice paint on it. And then you have the figure itself. There's not a whole lot of, let's say, paint to this guy, but for what paint is there, it's cool. And it comes from the DC Elseworlds skin pack. You also have like a Catwoman and Croc. And it does work, and I think it fits well in the terms of bringing more Mortal Kombat 11 figures to light, because it's been relatively light on figures. We'll just say there's a whole lot of black plastic to this guy. He does have a really nice looking sculpt. He's got some chains, which they work for what it is. I'm not going to go too nitpicky. It's just real chains always work so much better, especially in the context of superheroes and Spawn and whatnot. And he does have some silver around the bands. He's got that more muted gray skin tone. He's got the nth metal visor that he wears, and you get some articulation out of the head, which is surprising because he has those little flappies that kind of fold down. But you got some nice purple on the collar and silver around the buckles. But like I said, few and far between with paint. Is it effective for the Batman Who Laughs character? Yes. And if you've missed this character, you have never picked him up in figure form, I kind of like this look better than the standard Batman Who Laughs from the comic books. This guy looks more menacing, more deranged, and overall just is a cooler looking figure, oddly enough. You get a whole lot of the standard DC Multiverse articulation, so you get what I mean in terms of that. But if you look at, like I said, previous offerings that we've gotten, this is now the third one. We had the original Batman Who Laughs, which I do still really like this figure. I like the big old bloody smile. That's kind of cool. You have the second Batman Who Laughs, which was a comic book variant cover. It just had Hawkman's wings attached to him. And then you have the newest third one. And like I said, it's pretty cool. I kind of like all three, to be honest. And he does look great holding all the Robin Crows if you have those in your collection as well. So again, if you did miss any of the Batman Who Laughs or have been wanting a Batman Who Laughs, I think that this guy works in spades. I like the look of him. I like the tone. He looks a little bit more menacing. So yeah, for those that missed, I think you'll definitely be set. Now, moving on to the figure that of the two I was definitely more excited about. This is the Shadow of Spawn figure, and much like the Batman Who Laughs, in the spirit of skins and whatnot, they pretty much nailed it exactly for what you see in the video game. As you can tell, first and foremost, for the most part, it's relatively all new parts and pieces for Spawn. It's not exactly the classic Spawn, which Don't get me wrong, I would have loved that more than anything, to be honest with you. I would really enjoy a classic. You got the reds, the whites amidst the black, and the huge red cape. That's what I want to see for the next Spawn figure. Please give that to us. He has elements of King Spawn, right? A little bit here and there with the gauntlets and kind of the more modern take on Spawn. Although, we'll just say, the more black and white Spawn, minus the red amidst the chest and everything else, is considered the modern Spawn. What you add up with gauntlets and boots and spikes and everything else. But this new Shadow of Spawn is directly from the Mortal Kombat 11 skins. He does come with some chains. Now, as I said before, metal chains, always better, right? When it comes to Spawn especially. However, this little peg right here, I'll show you exactly how it works. I like it, and also at the same time, I'm like, maybe a few more passes on this to get it just right. But you get two distinctly different chains, and they're not bendy wire, which I think really could have worked and benefited to this Spawn in the utmost sense. This Spawn itself, I like what's going on with him. I like that, again, it brings back all the nostalgic feels of the original look for Spawn. But then again, he's got the big arm gauntlet, right? The lines on the arms, the white, the chains, I'm not going to nitpick this thing to death. You already know my thoughts on how I like my Spawn figures, right? But I do like that they've completely smoothed out the costume, right? This side has the boots, kind of has some uneven paint here and there on the spikes, just as an FYI. But I don't mind that it's kind of a few looks smashed together, invoking a lot of the traditional look for Spawn. You do have to match up some of the lines here and there, especially on the front of the costume, but that's not a big deal. The white in some areas does get a little bit messy. I really wish it could have been a lot cleaner. And on the back side, you can see there's two peg holes, and those are where the chains fit in, which again, in terms of a Spawn figure, I kind of like it. It's kind of old school while doing something a little bit different. Now, the only major negative problem I have is in the butterfly joints. The arms were great, but as you can see, it gets real gappy in between right here. It's almost as if, like, they'll work with you, but then if you don't match it up and then fix it, right, when you're posing him out, they work against you. So that's my only real gripe with this figure. Other than that, the articulation, I'll show you how the chains works. Everything else works for me. It's a distinct look for Spawn. I particularly like the articulation in the head, though. You can get him looking all the way up and doing the whole sad and I'm lonely in Spawn, I'm lonely in an alley kind of thing. He does have waist swivel and a little bit more of an ab crunch than we're used to with Spawn figures or DC Multiverse figures, which I dig. The legs are great. The knees got double jointed knees. You got the feet. Everything works. Everything moves. You got toe articulation. So nothing mind-blowing. I do like the whole range of movement, again, in the butterfly joints. But then that's my main gripe, is that it gets a whole lot of gappage. It doesn't look good, right? But let's show you how the chains work. It's pretty self-explanatory. You lift his giant cape up, which is non-removable. You can pull it off, I'm sure, if you want. But a removable cape would be nice as well. But you simply fit each of the chains in there. You can do it however you want. And it looks like you got some wild whipping chain action. And as I said, it looks cool. I like that they went this route, but a few more passes on the design scheme would have been even better. Bendy wire, that would have been awesome. Real chains mixed with bendy wire somehow, that would have been even better. But for how it is, it's kind of old school-ish, and I kind of like it. With powers and weapons and accessories, well, that's going to be up to you to grab for him, utilizing some of the Kickstarter Spawn necroplasm powers. Doesn't look too bad. Also guns and whatnot. But I think that some major extra hand action would have been awesome. Just to kind of utilize a few more powers and such that they don't give you in the box and that we could do ourselves. Now, when looking at past Spawns, you have the original first Wave 1 Spawn. Now you have this Mortal Kombat 11 kind of sort of original skin look for Spawn. You see the differences, right? No big boots on this one. That's how you kind of differentiate it. The boot came later. The gauntlets, more spikes, all came later. And when you match it up with the original Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn, the one that kind of kicked everything off, you see the details. A lot more smoother on this new Spawn, and you have more of that textured video game feel, maybe kind of sort of movie Spawn-ish, right? A little bit more of a skeleton face. Nice detail, don't get me wrong, but I like the smoothness for this Spawn. It's enough of a difference, enough of a change for me to go, this is awesome. And yeah, this is more in terms of what I want to see from Spawn offerings. And speaking of which, got a lot of Spawns that all kind of utilize this more classic look. And when you do examine each one, like this one in particular, more statuesque, barely moves, but it's a great representation of Spawn from that era. And I really do like the lighter reds. Not to say that on the new one it's too dark or anything, but if you really want to do it right, go a little bit more of the 10th anniversary Spawn. Give us some real chains. Pop the reds, really bright colored reds. Maybe even give them a little sheen of blue in there. I wouldn't mind that at all. But just in what's come before and what you see now, this one kind of emphasizes the two looks as well, both classic and modern Spawn. But I'll say all day, give us some extra heads and do more hamburger head action. That would be awesome. But pouches, boots, spikes, whatnot, it's all part of Spawn. And when you look at this new one, you can definitely see what they're drawing from, the inspiration. So there's a lot of Spawns out there, but I still think we could do for a beautiful new one that encapsulates the classic look of Spawn. And kind of having fun with an extra head portrait, right? This would be kind of cool. More of a rotten head, the worms in his mouth. I would love that. Batman vs. Spawn is coming out later this December. I would love a take on Sean Gordon Murphy's art. He just did a gorgeous cover. That's the cover I'm getting. So a little bit of Batman White Knight mixed with one of his takes on Spawn. Man, oh man, I would love that. And to look at this new Spawn with the previously released Throne Spawn. Now, I do have an aftermarket eBay cape that I got, but in taking it off, once again, you can see the detail and or what's lacking or changed. So in the sense of these two new figures, both are great. I don't have a problem with either of them. Some of them could be improved upon. The Batman Who Laughs is just okay. There's nothing mind-blowing about him, but good for those that missed in the first time around. And Spawn, while there is some things that I think they got right, some things they got changed, overall, for those of you that don't have a Spawn or been waiting for this type of Spawn, I think it'll be right up your alley. So that is going to wrap it up for my look at the brand new Shadow of Spawn and the Batman Who Laughs from the new Mortal Kombat 11 line by McFarlane Toys. And you've heard my thoughts. Now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything Spawn in DC Multiverse, basically. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food. But most importantly, remember, again, I wanted to say a special thank you to everyone who tunes in to my YouTube videos. 50,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. Thank you all so much for watching. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.